What's up everyone, Bassem from DSPORT magazine. Right here is Daniel from OEM Audio Plus. We've been doing some cool work with him. But before we get into that, can I ask you, what are some of the shortcomings of the factory system and why you guys do what you do?
Wow, man. Well, pretty much any application that we touch, the shortcomings really come down to it being lackluster. OEMs are known for doing kind of vanilla sound because it's non-offensive, it's not one way or the other, it's not emphasizing any particular frequency, and that's really where we step in, is delivering that detail as well as the substance and the weight that's lacking from the factory system.
Gotcha.
So in terms of the shortcomings with this particular application, there's just tonal imbalances. There's no detail that's accomplished from the front stage, and there's no bottom end. There's no bass response whatsoever. And that's really, at the end of the day, what you feel in your music is these variables that are lacking.
Right. So before we get into the bass, can you tell people what is the OEM standing for in terms of what you guys do?
Well, I mean, OEM, original equipment manufacturer, it really comes down to our approach of all of our systems. So we're taking into account specifically, in this instance, the Subaru WRX. So from the 15 and up, we're taking into account the acoustic environment, how all of that plays in a role, whether it's cloth or leather interior. That has an end result in terms of the sound reproduction. It plays a role more so in how everything sounds. We take into account the output characteristics of the head unit. And then from an engineering standpoint, we're taking into account, well, where can components go? We're utilizing factory mounting locations, factory connectors. Our wire and harnesses are pre-measured based on the length of the vehicle, based on where we're going to mount the amplifier. Amplifier is mounted where existing mounting locations are. Same is true of the subwoofer. So where it becomes OEM Audio Plus is because it's specific to each application, tailored for that vehicle, not only from an engineering standpoint, but also from a sound standpoint. That's where that plays into it.
Can we talk about like DIY? Can someone just buy this system and install it themselves?
We've been shipping systems since 2011, and I'd say 95% of our systems are installed by the end user. Whether they have any experience whatsoever in car audio or even taking apart their vehicle. That's one of the reasons that we really emphasize doing step-by-step installation videos on our YouTube and on our website, is because we want to empower the owner that may shy away from doing something like this. I mean, these vehicles disassemble with basic tools. I mean, we're talking about a #2 Phillips screwdriver, 10mm, 14mm, and some panel tools. Something that most people have with the exception of the panel tool. What we're showing them is, hey, this is how easily your vehicle disassembles. You're not having to do soldering, butt connecting, jumping. You're not changing the electrical of your vehicle whatsoever, and everything's intuitive. So 95% of our guys are doing it themselves.
Gotcha. Okay. And I saw the whole process. It's super easy. You just need to get over the fear of removing your head unit and knowing it's going to be okay. But other than that, like all the wires, they run just like factory. Exactly. So there's no, you never have to do drilling or anything like that.
Correct.
So that's the cool thing. I want to get into tuning, but before that, I want to talk about some of the test things you guys do, because I know you guys take a lot of pride in that. So what goes into testing a system before you kind of make it available for the consumer?
So it's a little twofold. So from our components in and of themselves, we're meeting OEM certification standards. So all of our components from an electrical standpoint and from a reliability standpoint, I mean, they're undergoing 10-year, 100,000-mile testing likened to the vehicle itself, or any genuine Subaru product or any genuine Toyota product on that end. So that in and of itself, from a component standpoint, there's a lot of testing, a lot of certification, a lot of approval so that our products are dialed in for like port installation programs or for a dealer. That also makes warranty like very lightweight for us because it's very little failures on the field. We don't shy away from offering a 3-year warranty as a result. But tying into your question in terms of testing of what goes into this, and it touches on the tuning aspects, we're taking into account the nuances, the details of this vehicle, and designing and configuring and testing a solution specifically for that. So does that tie on what you're asking about testing?
It does. And before I get into tuning, there's a question I kind of forgot to ask. So the system, what does it come with? What's all the components that come with it? Like, and are there options?
So we've always done closed loop systems. Basically systems that from start to finish have been thought out. They have at the heart of them a multi-channel power amplifier with a built-in digital signal processor. And at the end of the day, as much as the subwoofer is desirable, as clean as it is from a design standpoint and aesthetically pleasing, that amplifier with a digital signal processor, that's the heart of our system. That's where all the magic happens, which we'll dive into, as you mentioned, with the tuning process. From there, there's a quick sync wire and harness for plug-and-play installation, again, measured specifically for each vehicle, and then connectivity specific to that vehicle and that vehicle's head unit. And then we dive into speaker options. Our bass system, bass is in BASE, our entry-level system, player box. That does come with tweeters on the dash.
But it does offer BASF.
It does offer a subwoofer system as well. So tweeters at the dash, and then, as you noted, a vehicle-specific specific subwoofer that's going to install using the existing mounting locations as we mentioned. From there, there's the option of doing reference speakers, which you opted for and we did today for you, where we're changing out the speakers in the front doors as well as the rear doors. So it's a complete heart transplant when it comes to it, but it all starts with that amp, the harness, and then as you mentioned, the subwoofer system playing into it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Now tuning. I saw a picture on the website, and it looks like a lab. There's just microphones everywhere in the car.
Yeah.
I was super confused, and I couldn't wait for you to come here so you can explain to me.
Clarify.
What, first of all, what goes into tuning, and how does it work, and what do you guys equip the car with to kind of get that perfect tune and perfect sound? And
microphone placement actually is exclusively for the driver's seat.
Okay.
So we're just doing a 6 microphone array right there for the driver, and you nailed it because 10 out of 10 times there's going to be a driver in the car.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So you're in a Tesla.
Yeah, there you go. So we do tune with a driver priority at the end of the day. So there's front stage, rear fill. So it is a front stage priority, but it really, at the end of the day, that's the best seat in the house is the driver's seat. Now, the other passengers, they also, obviously as a byproduct of how well the system's calibrated, they benefit from it, but sweet spot is always that driver's seat, all right? So we're utilizing a 6 microphone array that's positioned right there in the driver's seat, in line with the steering wheel, so that is perfect not only for the driver, but also obviously everyone else as a passenger benefits from the listening experience. There's 2 reasons why we were using that 6 microphone array. One, to take into account different heights of the potential driver, but also so we have the law of averages. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 microphones taken into that data, you're not just left to one microphone getting potentially junk data. So again, it allows us to get the best response curve taking into account all variables of that sound quality. We're tuning with pink noise. So from an objective standpoint, we're allowing our highs, mids, and lows to be dictated by that pink noise running through in the acoustic environment of the vehicle, isolating individual speakers, but then also running at full range.
Gotcha.
From there, after that initial response curve is defined, based on the interior of the vehicle, the output characteristics of the head unit, and all other factors that are specific to that car, then we're doing subjective listening. So first, it's objective measurement, now subjective listening. How does it play on these genres across the board, select tracks that allow us to determine, is it ready?
Gotcha. Okay. What are some of the applications you guys offer? Not like specific applications, but like the manufacturers you guys are specific.
In short, we're serving the Toyota truck line. So that's the Tacoma, the Tundra, the 4Runner, the FJ Cruiser. We're also doing the Toyota 86. Even have an application for the Prius because that owner does appreciate what we do. We like that.
I'm sorry, I did hear the Prius, and it sounds incredible because of the way the car is.
It's like a quiet car.
It's a sound room. It's perfect.
Exactly. You nailed it. It's like a treated room for a home theater setup where it's got the fidelity and everything else going for it. And we try to do that with all of our applications. Some cars are more noisy, so diving into the Subaru application that we serve. And we tune with that in mind. We tune with a car in motion in mind because these have exhaust, these have other variables that are, road noise that are going to compete with what we're doing in there. So that is taken into account. But the Subaru WRX, the Forester, the Crosstrek, as well as the Impreza.
Got it. Okay, cool. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of new applications coming soon, and we'll be the first to let you guys know. Nice. Daniel, thank you so much for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for making the Subaru 10% better. Now we just need to make it quick. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and we're going to put the link to OEM Audio Plus down here so you can kind of go check out their stuff.
Nice, thank you.